Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Catcher with some of Mutant Monday. So this past week we had a few X books come out with the Destiny of X kind of soft relaunch. We're getting some books are being restarted at #1. Some are getting completely rebranded and started up with a new #1. Others are just picking up where they left off. So X Force, which came out this past week, picked up where it left off, though it seems to be more spinning out of the events of 10 deaths, or 10 lives, 10 deaths of Wolverine. Big thing there is meeting our new X-Men baddie. So, yeah. However, Marauders restarted with a brand new #1, which we'll be taking a look at first. Excuse me. The The Marauders Annual set up a new lineup for the team, keeping Captain Kate and keeping Captain Pride as well as Bishop, but adding Tempo, Aurora, Akihiro, Psylocke, and Somnus to the lineup, or to the crew. So the Mutant Fever pitch is just letting loose in a town in Wyoming. The Marauders save him before the National Guard takes him out. Cassandra Nova is on Kreco, and this is where you can dig up. If you dig deep enough, you'll find organs. But Kate is following the map of the from the Mysterian puzzle box that she got in the Marauders Annual. But the map led her to Cassandra, or led Kate to Cassandra Nova. We get a note from Bishop to Kate about the new team. Apparently, Psylocke still isn't sure she belongs, even if they know she does. She won't be. They won't be able to convince her, but her will to prove that to herself makes her their strongest asset in the field. She'll never lose focus on her personal mission, and by proxy, our own. Tempo has a lot to show the team. Power and confidence that many of us missed, or many of the X-Men missed. And while he's traveled in time plenty, he gets the sense that Tempo's relationship with time travel is pretty different from his. Deeper and more personal. And if you had to guess, more painful. Two people look at the same crime scene and see two different things. And he says that's him, Tempo, and time. Akihiro still feels at home in blood. That's why he did such good work with X Factor. Each investigation kept him close to the dark side, but in a useful way. He suddenly turns anger into something with utility. That said, repeated vivisection by Brimstone Love and his followers certainly hasn't helped his mood. However, the acceptance he's found in Aurora has hopefully done more good than Love's done bad. Aurora joined up to rescue Akihiro at first, but with Bishop saw in her eyes when they found her, she was rescuing Stitch from a suburban siege, and her time on X Factor has affected her. She's found love and communion in Akihiro, but also found new horrors in their caseload. The Five might be able to bring us back, but after Aurora's thing, I think she's ready to get to the mutants before they're dead. Somnus might say he joined to save Akihiro too, just like Aurora. It's clear he was looking to make a move. He lived a whole life in the closet, over 80 years of compromising who he was. Now, thanks to Akihiro pulling some strings, he's back with a second chance and a body in his prime. His is a mission of gratitude, and that's important. He could be the heart of the team in the waking world. There may be no limits to what he can do in the dreamscape. And then there's Cassandra Nova. Apparently, Kate went to Bishop before even considering inviting her to join the team. Even before Emma, Kate's made assurances, but Bishop does cherish Kate's fears. He also acknowledges the weight of a mystery box from billions of years ago, which didn't point to Apocalypse or Selene, the people we think of as the oldest of us, but to Cassandra Nova. His trust for Kate is implicit. They've got to take Krakoa's promise seriously, and she's done unforgivable things. He's done a mountain of bad himself across time. Cassandra Nova is just as powerful as Charles, and if she has fail-safes, and if Kate's got fail-safes, she can't tell anyone. But Bishop has no doubt that they're there. We get a training session with Tempo and Psylocke. Jean talks to Cassandra, realizing that Cassandra really hasn't changed much at all. Also turns out the energy that Bishop absorbed from Peter Pitch was converted into some power cells. Basically, batteries powered off of energy from mutants, and pretty much recruits Aurora directly. Somnus is helping Akihiro deal with what happened with Brimstone Love, basically allowing him to dream about doing to Love what Love did to him. But the Marauders arrive, and Kate introduces the last member of the crew to them. Somnus has no idea who Cassandra is, but everyone else clearly knows. We also get the closed scientific council discussing Cassandra Nova. The closed scientific council being Dr. Nemesis, Dr. Cecilia Reyes, and Mr. Sinister. Let the record note, there are only 2 doctors in attendance and 1 Mister. Can we just get on? Sinister explains that he sees no need to validate the scribblings of a fungus-headed dabbler who chews a lab coat over a cape. Reyes is a harmless amateur with style. The analysis that Captain Pride requested is quite simple. On the case of Cassandra Nova's mutanthood, the results are quite affirmative. Nemesis found this predictable because, well, Sinister did steal his way into mutant kind with a turkey base and a lack of shame. But Reyes points out that while that is all true, the Council recognizes Sinister's mutanthood, even if they personally find it repulsive. But it basically becomes kind of alright, fine, we'll acknowledge she's a mutant. The rest of the crew isn't happy about this, including Psylocke. And apparently it seems that the first generation of mutants are imprisoned by the Shi'ar. So that's where they're heading. And a secret society within Shi'ar culture is discovered by the Empress, the Kin Crimson. This member of the Kin Crimson explains tells Zandra just what it is that is being protected, and Zandra agrees that the Marauders cannot make it to Chandalar. And so they're promptly attacked by a Shi'ar vessel upon entering Shi'ar space. Bishop and Psylocke go EVA to take on the ship. There's a force field stopping them from continuing, but it appears to possibly be somewhat alive. And Eric the Red shows up for them to turn back or die. Kicking things off with a bang. I don't have any complaints with the book, but it's still a good book. But I feel like Jerry Dugan's departure has, I don't know. there's a degree of charm that he brought to the initial run of Marauders that Steve Orlando doesn't necessarily have. Thankfully, he's not trying to copy it. So, but I imagine the book will eventually grow on me. So that's a good thing. Next up, we've got X-Men Red #1, replacing Sword. Basically, it's X book set on Mars. The basics are we get a flashback to Storm fighting for her seat on the council. Was fighting for the position of Regent of Morocco. She won. But the council is meeting, and they have there's a question that's brought up. Will the future of Morocco be a return to Amos to destroy their ancient enemies as the law of Genesis demands, or a new beginning here on planet Morocco? The decision is peace. There's actually a long, but anyways, in Immortal X-Men #1, Magneto stepped down from the council, and he's moved to Mars, where he makes a palace for himself, meets one of the locals on an island, and yeah, like I said, begins to make a friend. In Port Prometheus, it turns out there's a sister bar to the Green Lagoon, the Red Lagoon. Sunspot is talking with an Iraqi as well, and they're reminiscing about lost loves. Vulcan shows up, trying to start shit with a Shi'ar ambassador, noting, no one ever, gladiator usurped my throne, I didn't die, so Sunspot told him to back off, and just before a fight starts, he powers up, and Vulcan steals the power for himself. But the fight started by Vulcan is stopped by Thunderbird, though it's promptly broken up by Brand and Cable. Cable and Thunderbird have some choice words for one another. Thunderbird not being a big fan of Cyclops, and, well, the Summers family in general. To be fair, some of the things that Cable says to Thunderbird are a bit below the belt. Namely, the subject of Thunderbird's brother Warpath comes up, and the fact that, to a point, Warpath was kind of turned into a soldier by Cable. And Thunderbird says, do you think if I had been around, I would have let you turn Jimmy into a soldier? And to be completely honest, that wouldn't have even been an option if Thunderbird hadn't died. But it's one thing. It's one thing for Cable to say, well, probably not, but you weren't there. And it's another thing entirely to say you had a plane to catch, as that's how Thunderbird died. When Brand explains it, talks about revoking Thunderbird's Mars privileges, he promises he'll go where he wants and decides he's going to stick around. The decision is made for peace by one vote. Brand speaks to Storm, explaining that Mars needs an X-Men team, someone to set an example. Though Storm thinks that a team of X-Men is the last thing that Mars needs. Not to say it doesn't need, maybe a team of mutant defenders. And so Sunspot goes to speak to Magneto, and they also agree that, you know, and even you know, Sunspot agrees that, yeah, Mars needs X-Men, but Storm explains that Brand is looking for X-Men, and she will find them. So Arakko needs to balance that. And Magneto asks what the balance is. Who defends the broken land? To which Storm replies, the Brotherhood does. Strong start. While I enjoyed the Sword title, I understand the rebranding to X-Men Red. No issue there. But yeah, solid issue. It's going to be very interesting to see how the whole thing plays out. And finally, we've also got the X-Force Annual. The short version is that the field team is... Orca sets a trap for the field team. Beast figures that out and happily sends the field team to spring said trap because the trap is all about testing limitations and whatnot on them. And, well, if Orcus learns something, Beast thinks it would be best if they know it as well. Emma Frost goes, the pretense that X-Force was given was a shipment of flower petals. Though Emma Frost states that there has been no stolen shipment. It's a trap. But there is a long write-up about what they're trying to do. To deal with Wolverine, the facility's been roof and floors are magnetized. Domino's given 4 choices of potential trapdoors to step on, and the main purpose of this was testing something on Kid Omega. So, Orca's experiment notes number 459. X blueprints Erika Ale May's Afar Depression from the desk of Albert Clary. Our goals in trapping the mutant team known as X-Force are as follows. To understand their mutagenic abilities under specific conditions and to subject them to repetitive testing in a short time frame before subjects are eliminated. Kid Omega, aka Quentin Quire, powerful psychic, the key to understanding Cerebro and the plans for Redacted. Our prototype requires further construction and testing, but the foundational programming is the same. Our researchers have recently discovered the potential for an Omega sound frequency, or at least what they believe is a new frequency that cannot be heard by any creature other than those with psychic abilities. It lies somewhere beyond 20,000 hertz, and we believe it must be less than 50,000 hertz. In order to find the optimization, the following trial will be administered. Results will hopefully allow us to fine-tune our Redacted. A series of 14 frequency variations would play on repeat in order. Wolverine, aka James Logan Howlett. Here we seek to understand the limits of invincibility. The subject's regenerative abilities make him difficult to subdue, but from that regeneration was born the answer. Use the adamantium skeleton grafted during an earlier procedure to hold him steady for further experimentation. We must understand the timing of this regeneration and see if a repetitive injury in the same section changes those times. The med boss must be equipped with live footage cameras, scalpels, and timing mechanisms. These recordings will be observed for posterity. Contractor notes. The ceiling of the entire lab must be magnetized and able to be activated and deactivated from my remote viewing station off the lab location. Notes for our robotics engineers as well. In order to better assure the med boss effectiveness, use Magneto protocols for this application. The robotics team may access our Magneto research for guidance on materials. Domino, aka Nina Thurman. Luck-based abilities, our most vague understanding yet. How does one quantify luck? With such an unstable factor in tests, we cannot allow the subject to live long. The test, then, will not be one of sustaining in the way our other subjects must be tested. The conditions cannot be prolonged. Therefore, while luck becomes a matter of choice, the subject must be exterminated within 30 minutes. Contractor notes, after closing off the subject from her companions, she must be guided through a series of closed doors and winding hallways to a dead end with a choice of 4 trap doors. Each door will contain the following. A long glass tube, of which there must be no friction, no possibility to climb. The floor of the traps must be must all be like a bulb, like a thermometer, in order to avoid escape. The traps will be arranged as follows. 1 is filled with acid, instant death. 2 will be filled with razors, knives, spikes, and any sharp object, spread out in such a way that the subject will be torn apart with every movement. 3 will be the safest option, a bulb filled with heat-sensitive glass made to melt in the lava lake below the lab in the heart of Erta. Finally, 4 will be a gas chamber with a life expectancy of 15 minutes before suffocation. Luck will determine which of the doors she chooses, and in any case, she will not survive the hour. The sonic assault on Quentin manages to incapacitate him briefly. Wolverine gets, has to deal with further tortures. However, Domino, Luck managed to run her away. To explain that basically you can't cheat Luck because for anyone else anywhere else, a volcano exploding would be the unluckiest thing in the world. But most people don't know volcanic eruption creates electromagnetic signals. The magnetic molten rock reaches the planet's surface, and then sometimes the magnetic field can flip, which it does, freeing Wolverine, who then in turn frees Kid Omega. More medbots were sent out, but as Wolverine is a bit more mobile, he's able to take them down. He frees Kid Omega, and the two of them toss a medbot down to Domino, who manages to be able to fly it out of the hole as the lava melts at the bottom of it. But they get the computer mainframe, blast their way out. Cray explains that the sonic cannon device was irreparably destroyed in the process as the experiment was cut short. However, science is based on repetitive testing. The results they've acquired have clarified some things and opened more questions, all of which is valuable. All that's left to do is rebuild and try again. Once they're out, Beast gets the signal that the team's out of the volcano with no casualties. And while talking to Beast, Kid Omega starts to get the thought that maybe Beast was well aware of what he was sending the team to do. But he pushes that thought away. Interesting. That's actually kind of one of the things I like about how Orcus is written, is that they're not just, I mean, they're evil, and but their evil has methodology behind it. Like you can see, like, oh yes, by making them. I hate that the bulk of the organization is scientists, but you can see that they're actually utilizing. They're actually being written like scientists and researchers. You would say, oh well, we need to know how this works. So let's do this. Yeah, it's it's a little thing, but yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, that'll do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.